Good evening, I'm Emma Jane Vere and this is Television Tonga News. In the headlines, the government calls witnesses to the stand in the trial against the former Attorney General. Litia Namo announces Dux of Seattle Dai Theological College for 2013, while Elizabeth Ramsey is the Dux for Leona High School 2013. And this morning's rainfall, 57.7 millimetres, exceeds half of the average amount of rainfall recorded for the month of November. These and more stories, including news from the Pacific, sports, world and the weather information later on in this bulletin. Let's take a look at the news in detail. Stakeholders have come together to support each other and ensure a better future. Therefore, students from kindergartens, primary and secondary schools have collected more than 10,000 ba'anga for the Tonga Breast Cancer Society and Viola Hospital's Board of Visitors. The donations were presented by the Minister of Education and Training, Dr. Ana Tauwhi'unungaki, to the two bodies. Sinilatu was there and filed this report.
The President of the Tonga Breast Cancer Society, Honourable Fatafehiola Baha Filipe, was presented with a cheque of more than 8,000 ba'anga from the Minister of Education, Honourable Dr. Ana Tauwhi'unungaki. The Education Minister also presented a separate cheque of more than 3,000 ba'anga to a representative from Viola Hospital's Board of Visitors, Lupe Ilayu. This is the Education Ministry's latest donation made to Viola Hospital's Board of Visitors. Previous contributions of more than 1,000 ba'anga were made, totaling the amount to more than 5,000 ba'anga. Honourable Fatafehi Filipe thanked the Education Minister and her ministry for the kind donations, which will go towards awareness programs about breast cancer. Meanwhile, the Education Ministry's Deputy Director, Bonaparte Taunisila, says that the money donated is from the students' Mufti programs at school. He adds that it helps to raise awareness on such issues with the students and encourage them to be loving, giving and supportive to such drives. At school, students are taught at an early age to have a good attitude and be caring, respectful, loving and kind. Such attitudes also guide students to achieve their goals. The Viola Hospital's Board of Visitors also thanked the Education Ministry for the donation which will address the hospital's most pressing needs. At the end of Hospital Week, we collected more than 42,000 ba'anga. Up until Wednesday, we collected an additional 70,000 ba'anga. We are very appreciative for the donations. Today, we have received a donation of 5,247 ba'anga and 95 cents, and the total donations collected by the board right now has reached more than 80,000. Breast Cancer Awareness Month was marked in October, while Hospital Week was marked from the 1st to the 9th of November. For Television Tonga News, I'm Sinilatu.
In the Supreme Court, government has begun calling its three witnesses to the stand in a jury trial against a claim from the former Attorney General, John Cauchi. The plaintiff, John Cauchi, is seeking almost 1 million ba'anga, which he claims he should have received from the Tongan government during his contract of employment. The government, as the defendant, called on the former Chief Secretary and Secretary to Cabinet, Busby Kautoke, to the stand. The Attorney General, who's also the government's legal counsel, Neil Adsett, questioned Kautoke whether there's a government policy which sidelines the role of an Attorney General. Kautoke told the court he was unaware of such a policy. The question from Neil Adsett was based on a claim made by John Cauchi that he was sidelined by government. During the trial, Adsett also asked Kautoke about a claim from Cauchi that he was forced to resign. Kautoke responded that he didn't see any signs for the reason of his resignation, yet it was processed in the usual way. Kautoke also told the court that under the contract of employment with the former Attorney General, John Cauchi was allowed to resign. However, he was required to inform the government 3 months prior his resignation. The trial continued in the afternoon with Cauchi's legal counsel, Lucky New, cross-examining Busby Kautoke. The government's other two witnesses are the former Prime Minister, Lord Seveleo Vailahi, and the Solicitor General, Aminiasi Gefu. Lithia Namoa was announced yesterday as the Dux of Seattle Theological College during the college graduation ceremony, which was held on the school premises. Guest of honour at the event was the president of the Free Wesleyan Church of Tonga, Reverend Dr. Ahio. Speaking to the graduates, he says the school has made many achievements in all aspects of life. Fatai Whainga'a tells you more.
Fuaki, ai pare whalanglangi. O Dux, o he koris ko Seattle tai. E wafe hon fulmatolu. Litia, Minteni, Namoa. Me fo'ui, matau malolo, tangatapu.
The president of the Free Wesleyan Church of Tonga, Reverend Dr. Ahio, presented Lithia Namoa's prizes as the captain of Seattle Theological College for 2013. Speaking to the graduates, the president of the Free Wesleyan Church of Tonga, Reverend Dr. Ahio, says Seattle is unique from any other institution in Tonga. One of Seattle's strengths is teamwork and upholding its role in the community. What identifies a student of the school is their ability to fulfill their duty at home, in the family, at church, and in the community. The school's annual report was delivered by Reverend Dr. Sota Mihavea. He says that the school is blessed to receive a variety of assistance from different walks of life. Furthermore, the school was able to collect more than 300,000 pa'anga for its annual church tithing of offering for this year. Seattle this year started with 258 students altogether. It consists of 31 women and 110 male. Members of the clergy also take up some courses while their wives take part in the women's programs. The Seattle Theological College also provides the highest degree of a Bachelor of Divinity to its students. For Television Tonga News, I'm Fatai Whainga'a.
Tonga is expecting to be hit by one or two cyclones during its tropical cyclone season. This season pans from November to April. Information from the Director of Tonga Meteorological Services, Ofa Fa'anunu, says the cyclone can reach and even exceed a Category 3 status, which is classified as a severe tropical cyclone. However, he assured the public that the tropical cyclone activity expected for the 2013-2014 tropical cyclone season for Tonga is likely to be average or above average. As that tracks of the tropical cyclone is likely to affect Tonga this season is likely to be from the north to west quadrant of the island chain. For tropical cyclones passing close to the country, associated active cloud and rain bands may bring heavy rain and squally conditions with possible flooding and sea flooding of low-lying coastal areas. It's also evident that during these years, almost 90% of the tropical cyclones that affected Tonga were severe. Tropical cyclone season in Tonga begins November to April, but the peak time for the occurrence of these cyclones is from January to March, with most events occurring in February. It's important for families to have respect and care for each other because they are the future of the country which depends on them. The comment was made by the Minister for Internal Affairs, Lord Vaea, in a program on Television Radio Tonga to mark White Ribbon Day on Monday, November 25th. Sinilatu has the details.
The Minister, Lord Vaea, says a family living in unity will depend on the members of the family, therefore they must respect each other. He believes many people consider physical punishment as a way of disciplining children and teaching women a lesson. The Internal Affairs Minister says White Ribbon Day also embraces other days which are recognized internationally and puts essence on the importance of family, which further highlights its purpose, which is to stop violence against women. Family is the essence of all these important days, like World AIDS Day, human rights, and even those who are neglected, and also those who are in slavery. These important days are based on families. It starts from the idea of trying to protect our women. Respect begins with women. Meanwhile, an officer from Tonga's Youth Council, who provides counseling for men, says violence against women and children must be stopped. It's sad to hear about stories of women and children being abused. Men tend to get very defensive about their actions. Their excuses are they deserved it or they were right to beat them. It's sad to hear such things. White Ribbon Day is marked to stop violence against women and children. For Television Tonga News, I'm Sinila To.
Malieta Elizabeth Winnie Ramsey is this year's Dux for Liahona High School. She was presented with honorary prizes during the school's graduation ceremony this morning for the graduate senior students who completed their high school education. It's Kalani Tongilava with more on that story.
The 2013 Dux for Liahona High School hails from Holonga Tongatapu, Malieta Elizabeth Winnie Ramsey. Elizabeth was also the school's head girl prefect for 2013. In an encouragement speech from the young winner, Ms. Ramsey says that she carries with her an image of her father, who struggled to provide everything for his children, which have led her to this achievement.
To all the heroes whose shoulder I stand by, whose shoulders I stand by, to my family, you have sacrificed literally everything for me, and especially to my mom, Nala. Thank you for always making me proud and making me feel like I can always do anything. To my administrators and faculty, why would I ever forget how you, such educators, can be my drivers, can be my doctors, can be my counselors, can be my confidants. How would I ever forget those days you should be spending with your family on holidays, but you chose to be in the classroom to help us, prepare us for exams. From the bottom of my heart, I salute you. Thank you for all the great examples that you have shown to us. To my fellow graduates, thank you for all the memories that we have shared together. Thank you for making this day possible. Today marks a point in our life that there is more to come in the future.
The proximate successor, or the first runner-up, was announced to Caroline Wana Lesieli Ita'aihau, and followed by the second runner-up, which was awarded to an Asian young man, Wei Jin Uksway. The guest of honor at the event was Elder Aisake Tukwafu from the area of 70, which he presented all young graduates with their diplomas to mark the completion of their studies. The theme for Liahona High School's graduation ceremony was Stand and Remember. It aims to encourage the students to always remember what the school have taught them during their years of study in Liahona High School. During the graduation ceremony, 7 students were awarded with high honors as they achieved 90 to 100% in their marks. Also during this morning's graduation ceremony, the 130 graduates from the class of 2013 were admitted to the Liahona Sainiha Alumni Association Board of Directors. Also in a speech from the guest of honor, Elder Tukwafu, he called on the graduates for 2013 that it is vital to lead a wiser life. Liahona High School's graduation ceremony was broadcast live on Radio Tonga and was recorded by the staff of Television Tonga to be broadcast on Television Tonga later on in the weekend. For Television Tonga News, I'm Kalolaine Tonglava.
This morning's rainfall recorded a total of 57.7 millimetres. A senior meteorologist officer, Moleni Tu'holoaki, says the amount was recorded within 6 hours and has exceeded half of the average amount of rainfall recorded for the month of November. The average amount of rainfall for November is 103 millimetres. Minister Tu'uholoaki says such heavy rainfall is normal for Tonga's cyclone season, which is from November to April. According to the weather forecast, a heavy rain advisory remains in force for Tongatapu and Ewa. And that's the local news. Pacific is next.